Hi, it's Julie Kerr here, founder of BulimiaFree.com, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, if you're watching this video, it's likely you're a woman who, despite your outward success, is suffering from bulimia, and you are sick and tired of the struggle and how it's getting in the way of your happiness and health and success. You are probably exhausted, mentally, emotionally, and physically, from the binging and purging and trying to hold it all together. You are desperate to break free from the cycle of binging and purging, but despite your best efforts and intentions, you just can't seem to do so. Or not long term anyway, and you are looking for a solution that not only liberates you from the binging and purging, but enables you to regain your confidence and self-esteem so that you can live your life on your terms. If that sounds familiar or is true for you, then this YouTube channel is the place for you. Here in the Bulimia Free YouTube channel, you'll find lots of interesting videos that will give you advice and information that will help you break the stranglehold that bulimia has over you and enable you to break through to freedom and start living a life you love. So to make sure that you don't miss out on any new content that will help you break through to freedom, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking the button now. So it was about 20 years ago that I last binged and purged. Now, you'd have thought I'd have remembered that wondrous day, but because I told myself so many times that I'd never binge and purge again, but always did, I never recognised it was really the last time. And so it passed unnoticed and uncelebrated. And it wasn't until some time later that I realised that not only hadn't I binged and purged, but I hadn't even thought about it. But I didn't give it much consideration. I was just delighted to be free from bulimia, free from the decades of misery, and I was just happy to get on with my life. Years later, I was at an event and I was chatting to a therapist, and I happened to mention I'd had bulimia. And she said that you can never get rid of bulimia, and that I'd always have issues in the back of my mind about food in my body. But I knew this wasn't true. I hadn't binged and purged in years, and I certainly didn't have any issues with my body or with food. Now, I'd never shared my 15-year struggle with anyone before, but there was something in her attitude that stirred something within me. So that evening when I got home, I put bulimia into Google, and I was shocked. I couldn't believe how big the problem was and how many people were suffering. What had happened in these 20 years? What the hell was going on? And I got curious, but the more I read, the more confused I got, because so much of the information was conflicting. What was bulimia really all about? What had I actually recovered from? And how had I actually recovered? And as I trawled through the internet that evening, looking for answers to these very questions, I discovered a report of a scientific experiment conducted in 1916. Here were 26 healthy and positive young men who were now, after being put on a restrictive diet for just a few months, exhibiting symptoms of what we'd call today an eating disorder. I was suddenly hit with the realisation that the symptoms that I'd been suffering from when I had bulimia hadn't meant that I was fundamentally flawed or incapable of managing my emotions or that I was uncontrollable around food. But they'd been symptoms of my unrelenting dieting in one form or another as I tried to lose weight or control my overwhelming urges to binge. And I'd never put the two together, the dieting and the bulimia. But now so much made sense. And then I got sad. All those wasted years, all those years I'd wasted being at war with myself and my body, of struggling to recover in all the wrong ways, and of believing that there was something seriously wrong with me. But then I got mad, and I decided all that struggling and all those wasted years were not going to be for nothing. And so when I look back and understood how and what I'd done to overcome bulimia, I realised that I had to start sharing and showing others how they could do exactly the same. And since then, I've been sharing my method with other sufferers across the globe to become bulimia free and lead lives of freedom, love, happiness and joy. As a subscriber, you can leave comments and questions in the comment box below the videos. And if your question is too personal, then simply send me an email at julie@bulimiafree.com and I'll answer it personally. Now, I want you to know that recovery from bulimia is possible and is possible for you. you can have a life of freedom, health, happiness and joy. So subscribe to this channel now and get the information that you need to break free.